Hi, this is Stuart Jenkins again. The topic's Principia, the school that I hope survives. Um, I guess over 1,000 people have viewed the videos that I made so far on YouTube and some other social medias. But so uh, I thought I'd do it one more time. Got off of the call for the Howard Society from Principia, where they updated the alums donor base a couple weeks ago, and thought I'd give you a few hits and misses. First, I think it's a big kudo to the board that they're holding these kinds of Zoom meetings where they're communicating information directly and hopefully circumventing the rumor mills and things like that. I think it was a big hit that Dennis presented the commitment to a strategic plan for Principia. His enthusiasm and detailed description of that plan was encouraging. I think it was a bit of a miss that there was no hard data for that strategic plans, no goals, no objectives, nothing measurable, nothing to count on. Maybe it's too soon. But I think the donors are a little skeptical at this point, having heard about the strategic planning process under the John Palmer administration, the Yo Westerhoff administration, and now the John Williams administration. And yet 6 or 7 years on, there's still no strategic plan or actionable plan to transform the school. They both indicated their commitment to the pilot enrollment program for increasing enrollment at the college particularly and getting that up to speed. Bit of a miss when they failed to have any targets. They said, well, it might be 12, it might be 20, 24, but I think it would have been more encouraging if there were some target numbers put behind that. Another little miss, I thought, was the fact that they could not refer to any potential student as a non-Christian Scientist. It was all these euphemisms, alternative families, new markets, non-traditional, when really what they are is not Christian Scientists. And I think that phraseology and that discomfort probably expresses a lot about the mindset and maybe the limitations that they're putting on themselves. Dennis expressed a lot of enthusiasm for the product at the college, and that many non-Christian Science families, new markets families, thought that they would be very interested in that product. And I think there's a reason to believe that, but he gave no evidence of that. It was just a belief system. And of course, hope is not a strategy and hope is not a plan. And I thought it was a miss that they could have told the donor base that on the St. Louis campus, 20 to 25 families, non-Christian Science families, are paying full price for the privilege of attending Principia. That shows that the product that the administration on the St. Louis campus, Travis and Peter and the whole team down there, along with the committed educators, have built a product, an educational product, that is of value that people will pay for. I think that those new non-Christian Science families have generated something in the neighborhood of $750,000 to $1 million in revenue for Principia. That's pretty encouraging. And I would think that they would want to talk about that. That new product on the St. Louis campus has also driven applications for enrollment up over 80% or 100%, depending on who you talk to when. So I thought it was, surprising that wasn't mentioned. Dennis started right off talking about the enthusiasm for the work that Travis and his team had done. He noted that there's a strong, deep bench of people that Travis developed as a great leader, and they were counting on that to continue the path. I think all eyes from the donor base will be on what happens to those great leaders, the bench strength under Travis. Will they be promoted, retained, elevated? If they are, I think the words will match the deeds. If those people start matriculating out of the institution as leaders and teachers and educators, I think it will be a signal that there's something else going on that we don't know about. I thought it was very encouraging that The board chair outlined the process for hiring a new CE, and they were using an outside firm, and she reiterated they liked this process because they have done it before. I think there were some shaking heads on that, going, well, if it's worked so well in the past, why is the turnover so high at the executive and leadership level at Principia? Doesn't seem like it's worked that well, but that wasn't addressed, and maybe it will be addressed, but I think that left many people that I've spoken to scratching their heads. The board chair also mentioned that, and this is the first time I've ever heard any executive at Principia say out loud that the Board of Trustees has the right to change policies at Principia, which is encouraging, and I commend them for saying that out loud. However, sort of a big miss, a massive miss in my view, was when she followed that up by saying they were reluctant to change policy because those policies were the result of such great prayer. This is one where I'm just have to say I'm off the bus. Those policies, if prayer results in policies that discriminate against black Christian scientists, gay Christian scientists, and Christian scientists who choose to use a physician from time to time, if that's the result of prayer, I really don't want to have anything to do with your prayer. I understand that the people who made those decisions back in '47 were products of their time, and if I'd been on that board at that time, I probably would have voted like they voted. But you know, we're 70 years on. We've grown. We understand more. We've had enlightenment. We've elevated our thinking. We've expanded our sense of what's right. And to sit here and say those policies need to be really cherished because they were the result of prayer, I think is poking your finger in the eye of people who were desperately harmed for a long time by those policies. And I think it's thoughtless, it's callous, it shows you're out of touch, and I thought that was a massive miss. As a result of that meeting, they said they were going to send out answers to all the questions that were asked at the Howard Society call, and they were going to give us written answers to all those questions. 2 weeks later, there are no written answers. I don't know if this is because they don't want to answer those questions or they just haven't got around to answering those questions, but hopefully we'll see that. So that's what I heard, and a little bit of take on it, and I'm glad they're communicating. I hope that they will provide a format where direct questions and answers can be asked by people who care a great deal about the institution that they lead, and I think it's especially important for people who don't want to see the school run down to an enrollment of nothing and then closed. But that's my take, and I hope it helps. Take care.